Today's video is about inflammatory hair loss. A couple days ago, I did share progress pictures of someone who have been following rapid regrowth method on results he have been able to achieve. And I want to talk about more about his case on addressing inflammation and why this is so important to actually solve inflammation, also in terms of how it can help in getting better results from treatment. And this is a post I originally did a couple days ago, but additionally, you can find the shorts that I made like 9-10 months ago about his situation, this one here, and it goes more in details what happened, what steps he actually did follow in terms of addressing his hair inflammatory problem he was having. And when it comes to latest updates, so we can take a look first at his baseline picture, this one here. So this is basically when he first start to address the problem, and you can see that his pattern, it did look like a genital alopecia pattern, but at the same time you can also see that there are areas that are thicker than other areas, which again points in direction that there is something else to the hair loss as well. And you can also spot some redness on his scalp as well, which is something that can indicate that there is either dermatitis or inflammatory problems. In his case, it was both of them. And the thing with inflammation is that you want to address it as soon as possible, because inflammatory problems, they can lead to chronic inflammation and also a different alopecia, like a scarring alopecia conditions, which is very hard to recover from. So if you are having scalp inflammatory problems, you have to address them as soon as possible. And I remember myself when I was having inflammatory problems, like what happened in my shed increased so much more compared to when I was having genital alopecia. Right, so the inflammation is something that has to be taken seriously. And if you are having, for example, burning sensation, redness, itchiness, those are signs of inflammatory problems, and you have to address them. And in this guy case, what happened is that he addressed the inflammation he was having. He was able to solve this problem, and this is his latest update in terms of his recovery, right? You can see how nicely he have been able to recover his hair. And in terms of redness, you can see in this picture here, he's also doing microneedling, right? So basically when he addressed inflammation, when he addressed dermatitis and got the right formulation minoxidil to apply on his scalp, he have been able to have very good results in terms of hair recovery. And you can see that all the areas are filling in, right? So this is very interesting. And before this picture here, he actually shared with me one more. Like this was like 3 or 4 months ago, this one here. And what you can see here as well is that the areas that has had a hair loss, like a latest, you can see that they are recovering first, right? But the areas that has been thinned out for a longer time, they are still kind of recovering, right? So this again points directions that, for example, if you are someone who has a, let's say, temple thinning, and one temple is recovering faster than another temple, like you can point directions that, for example, one of the temples was gone sooner than other one, and then it also requires more time to recover. And you can see in this guy case as well, is that the areas that was thicker when inflammation was going on, they are thickening up much faster compared to areas that was thin because of the inflammatory problems, right? And that's something to keep in mind in terms of timeline on results. But he have made very good recovery of the problems he was having, and also a progression of his hair loss. And this has been achieved without taking finasteride. So for example, what is important to always remember is that there are multiple causes of the hair loss. Like in my case, I had allergic alopecia, I had inflammatory problems, I also had nutritional deficiencies and dermatitis problems, overstimulation. Like I did so many things wrong in my case. But it is always important to keep in mind that adrenal alopecia is just one of the problems one can have, right? So there can actually be multiple issues that you need to work on. And the more problems you're having, the more progression there will be. And other thing with inflammation is that it can cause more DHT sensitivity to follicles, right? So that's other things that is important to address, because if there is inflammation and you notice that there is inflammatory problems in your scalp, it will weaken the follicles much faster than just adrenal alopecia. And again, guys, if you are having this kind of problem and you are struggling with it and you're not able to fix it yourself, you can always book a session below the video and we can speak about the problem you're having and what is next best action steps for you to take. And if you want to work on it yourself, you can also get hold of the Rapid Regrowth from the workbook, which has the essential steps you need to recover from the hair loss. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you next time.